Talk Show. I do appreciate you guys joining. As you can see, I have a guest here. We're gonna get into it with him in a minute, okay? But as you can see, Mr. Junior Tava'a. Did I say that right? Tava'a? I said that right, right? Okay, all right. We're gonna get into it with him in a minute, but I just want to thank you guys for joining. Today is Tuesday, July 12th. It's show number 167. You know, who would have thought I got to show number one, right? And now I have all these wonderful guests coming on, and today is no exception. We got a powerhouse today. You know, somebody a couple of weeks ago said, because I had a couple of guests on that, you know, the caliber of guests, I guess, is changing. They said, man, you're getting some heavy hitters on there now. Well, there's no other heavy hitter that I can even think of right now other than the one that I'm going to introduce in a couple of minutes. But as you can see, or you can see from the ticker below, if you do not know who this is Mr. Junior Tava'a. He is the Chief Sales Officer with Visit Anaheim. And just, why don't you come on? I had him mute his mic, but please come on and I'm going to introduce you formally, but please come on and say hello, if that's all right.
Russ, man, it's good to see you, brother. Russ and I were talking right before. You know, I'm a big fan of his, and I said to him, you know, I was always a long-time listener, first-time caller, right? So I'm privileged and honored to be asked to be on his podcast, on his show. So thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody always got to have something funny to try to say. Okay. Now I've been wanting Junior, and I guess I didn't ask him. I mean, I guess that would have been the proper way to do it, is me to just say, hey, Junior, you want to be on the show, or can you be on the show? And I didn't, but he was on the top of my list of people that I wanted on the show. But you know, people get busy. You see them all over the world, and they're like, you know, they're too busy for me, right? This is small potatoes compared to what Junior does. But no, I do appreciate you coming on, and all I had to do was ask, and like in 2 weeks, he made it happen. So I do appreciate you coming on. But real quick, I want to start with, excuse me, I want to read your intro, your bio, and then we'll jump into it, okay? If that's okay. So Junior Tava'a serves as the Chief Sales Officer at Visit Anaheim since October 2013. Tava'a leads sales and marketing teams for Visit Anaheim to increase Anaheim's market share and customer satisfaction in meetings and leisure market. Additionally, he leads Orange County Sports Commission in positioning Anaheim and Orange County as a premier sports destination. Tava'a is very involved with meetings and events industry and initiatives to ensure the Anaheim Orange County brand continues to be a thought leader within the industry. Tava'a was previously Executive Vice President of Strategic Partnerships with MPI, or Meeting Professionals International, and the MPI Foundation, the largest global meeting and events industry association for 7 years. He was also previously with LA Tourism Board, which I think that's where I met him, for 10 years, where he held several key leadership roles. Tava'a held different volunteer leadership positions with Destination International, Events Industry Council, American Society of Association Executives, Professional Convention Management Association, MPI, or Meeting Professionals International Foundation, as well as several technology companies over the course of his career. He is currently serving on volunteer leadership position at Destination International and Events Industry Council. See, I get mixed up because we have so many acronyms in this industry, and I should have just read the acronyms. But the thing of it is, some of the people don't know what these acronyms mean, so that's why I have to read everything. Tava'a earned a master's degree in public administration from California State University, Long Beach, and a Bachelor of Arts in political science from California Polytechnic University. I'd like to welcome to the microphone Mr. Junior Tava'a. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Hey, thanks for that, man. That's a tongue twister there.
Yes. But I got through it. But yeah, we're big on acronyms, but you know, the world doesn't know what these acronyms mean. So I always have to, you know, make sure I explain that. But thank you so much for joining. And you're with Visit Anaheim. Now, how did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I think we met when I was with the LA Tourism Board, right? This is many many moons ago. I can't remember if you were with Hilton Hotels when we met. Again, this is I don't even want to start counting the years because that dates us. You know what I mean? But along we've been around the block a few times.
Yes, yes. I think I was with a Hilton. I don't know. I've been to 14 different hotels, so I kind of
Yeah.
I kind of forget which hotels I was at that time. But I do. Yeah, you were with LA Tourism then, and I didn't know. I went back and looked at your. Of course, I looked at your LinkedIn profile and
Yep.
in your resume, and I didn't actually know what you did then. I mean, I knew you were in kind of sales and marketing, but you're not limited to sales and marketing. It seems like you do a lot more strategic planning, if you will. Am I right? Am I off base when I say that?
Yeah, so I think you read it. You mentioned it in the beginning. I work for Visit Anaheim, which is a DMO, a destination. You talk about acronyms, right? A DMO, a destination marketing organization, which is LA Tourism Board is the same. They're under the same sort of umbrella. Before that, they were called CVB. So we try to get customers confused by all of the acronyms, right?
Yeah.
It's I feel like that's sort of the thing. But I've been in this space for many many years, and for a lot of your listeners, and I didn't grow up in this space, right? Meaning most of the people that come into this space either come through hotels or even in the event side of the business. I actually started, when I was in grad school in the business consulting world, right? And it just, LA Tourism Board was looking for an analyst, and that's how I got into this space. And there's a gentleman named Bob Moore who was working for Hilton Hotels that came over and took a leadership position at the LA Tourism Board that hired me on, and that's sort of my introduction to this space. And like many of us that work in this space, the tourism or the meetings convention space, we sort of fell into the industry, right? And to your point, I started in sort of research, went into marketing, went into sales operation, and really tried to figure out what my sort of niche is and what sort of gets me going. And it turns out that I never thought I would be in sales, and here I am, right? But I think a lot of the sales leaders today, and certainly I think some of the successful sales leaders are people that are trying to find solutions for their customers, right? Versus the guy that's sitting there and just like trying to pound sales. You know what I mean? Like I don't think anybody wants to be sold to. I think people are in our space, and certainly in every space are have some challenges, and they're looking for somebody that can then offer solutions. And I think that's the person that's usually successful in the space and can build relationships with people in our industry.
Wow, that's good. I love that. I love the way you answer that. I mean, I love the way you explain your career because I didn't know. Like I said, my first experience with you was with LA Tourism, so I didn't know how you got there. And one of the questions I always ask people: did you choose hospitality, or did hospitality choose you? And it seems like hospitality chose you based on you were in public administration and basically as a consultant and went to work with LA Tourism, and then and then the rest is history. So yeah, that's a great story because I always tell people every time I meet people, they ask about the hospitality industry, and I say no two people got in this alike.
Yep.
No two careers are identical. I mean,
Yep.
you came in a totally different way than not many people came in that way,
Yeah.
right? But it's very unique. It's very unique, and you bring something else to the table, and that let me just say this before I start asking any questions. My questions can be all over the place. They can go from one subject to another subject. Okay, so but it's all about the industry and all that stuff
Yep.
and your career and things like that. So you mentioned, or did we talk about the role of a CVB? Let's just talk about the role because and let me just back up real quick. This is an interactive show.
Yeah.
People will chime in and make comments. You may not be able to see the comments, but I'll read the comments. So
Okay.
I just got one comment from Robbie M, and I think that's Robin Moncrief, if I'm not mistaken. She says CVBs provide such great value to planners. That was her comment. So based on that, what is the role of a CVB or
Yep.
DMO, Convention Visitors Bureau versus a destination marketing organization?
Yeah. So before I answer that question, I'll double back and for the younger listeners that are coming into your industry, and you sort of highlighted this in the beginning, right? There are so many segments, there's so many careers within our industry, right? Whether you want to go into the marketing side of the business, and oftentimes when I'm having these discussions, especially for young people coming out of college, looking for a career, there are careers in marketing, there are careers in social media, there are careers in finance, there are careers in obviously sales, right? Hotel management, we talk about operations. So in our industry, there's so many segments that people can build their career on and have a very good career and be able to move throughout the United States, or even stay in your local community, Los Angeles for that matter, as we're in that area, right, or Anaheim. That it's a great opportunity for people that are coming out of college, and I think that's something that we as an industry need to do more, is recruit the best talent coming out of college to get into our industry, to be able to elevate our industry and continue to push our industry forward. So that's I want to sort of tie that piece off with a bow before I get into the DMO space, right? So what the role of the DMO, and the role of the DMO, Russ, it has really changed over the years, right? The role of the DMO when I got into the industry is really to bring visitors into the destination, to market the sale and to sell and market a destination, whether it's Los Angeles when I was in Los Angeles, or Anaheim or Dallas, any of the major destination. There's usually a DMO or a CVB in that destination that really helps market that destination to leisure travel, or the vacationers, or that are coming into that destination, but also meetings and events that are coming into that destination, or that are moving throughout the United States, that can be housed or can be had at that destination. So for us in Anaheim, my job then is to bring the vacationers, the leisure travelers, the tourists into our destination, Anaheim, Orange County, but also meetings and events. And when I say meetings and events, I'm talking about business events. I'm talking about conventions. I'm also talking about sports events into Anaheim and Orange County, right? So that's really the role of the DMO. That's the role of the DMO in its infancy stage, or on the onset. Today, the role of the DMO continues to evolve, right? So today, the role of the DMO now is really working with cities to develop products in that city. And what I mean by product, Russ, is hotel products, right? So products that visitors can utilize when they come into the city. So things like hotels, restaurants, nightlife, all of these things that attract visitors to our destination are things that DMOs are now more involved with the city in terms of city planning, right? And so that is one area of the job now that is expanded over the years as the travelers become more complex or more sophisticated, and their access to information in each destination are more readily at their fingertip with technology, right? I think the other component of the job is also working with the community here to support and welcome visitors, right? You often hear from some destinations, or you hear from some destinations where like they don't want as much tourists because it causes too much traffic, or you know what I mean, it increases the price of goods in that destination, hotels, everything there. I think for us, we work a lot in terms of communicating to our local community here the value of tourism, the value of meetings and events, right? How that generates economic impact that helps with city development, that helps with the operations and capital products and capital improvement products in each city. So, the role of DMO has continued to evolve, especially with more and more information readily available to visitors and organizers and attendees of these major conventions coming into each destination.
Very good. I like that. You know what? What I did not let you know before we even, this didn't, I guess this just happened, but my family reunion is in Anaheim on Saturday, on Friday through Sunday. And
nice. Well, welcome.
Yeah, we had planned it. I guess I planned it about a year and a half ago, or during COVID. And so we decided on Anaheim, and now the hotel is the Delta Hotel, which is I believe is still in your district, right? I mean, although I guess technically it's in Garden Grove, but it is in the Anaheim Resort District, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's Anaheim Resort, also part of Orange County, right? So Visit Anaheim represents all of obviously Anaheim, Garden Grove, but all of Orange County.
Okay, very good. Okay, so yeah, so that's the Love Family Reunion. Just in case people wanted to know that, so that's happening on, like I said, Friday starts on Friday. We're doing some bowling on that night. We do a meet and greet. Do bowling locally, and then we do on Saturday we do a picnic at I want to say Miles something Park, and then golfing there as well. So
Okay.
yeah, so and then we come back to the hotel and do a dinner and things like that. So and then people are doing Disneyland and all that kind of stuff. So it's
So,
just a coincidence that it happened to be on the same week that I have you on the show. So isn't that something?
so you might have some new family members show up now that you're putting it on the podcast.
Exactly. As long as they're paying, that's all right. That's all that matters. As long as they're paying. But the Anaheim Resort District, can you explain what that is?
So the Anaheim Resort District is really the area around the convention center, right? Where we have the majority of our hotels. We have so many different hotels at so many different price points and levels of service. So we have your sort of limited hotels, limited service hotels, which at a lower price point, and then we have our four diamond hotels. We just had three, four diamond hotels open during the pandemic, right? The JW, the West End, and the Radisson Blue are the three, four diamond hotels, which we needed to be able to answer the call, to answer the demand and the need from a lot of our corporate customers and some of our association customers that are coming in that are looking at sort of a separate place for their executive meetings, right? So that's where the resort district is really around the convention center, about probably a mile and a half around the convention center, which again has all of our hotels, and then also pretty very close to the to Disney and the theme parks.
Okay. Now, what would you say is something new? I mean, you just mentioned a couple of hotels that are come online during the pandemic, from four diamond hotels that have come online. Anything else new in the Anaheim area that listeners would want to know about?
Yeah, so we have during the pandemic we worked a lot on, like I said, getting these four diamond hotels, which is a piece that was missing for us. We have other hotels that we also opened during the pandemic, a little bit on the limited service side of our business. Limited service, for some of your guests that are not familiar, are hotels that don't have room service and some of these other things like the big boxes, to the big Hilton, big Marriott hotels, right? So we wanted to be able to have enough of those hotels outside of the hotel product for us. OC Vibe is another big development that's going on right now. OC Vibe is where the Honda Center is for us, where the Ducks play.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major development for us that is starting off and scheduled. The first phase of it, Rusty, will be completed in 2024, with the final phase complete in 2028 for the Olympics. And what that entails is event venues, hotels. We have housing there, obviously restaurants. So it's a great sports and entertainment complex there, about a mile away from the convention center, a mile away from the resort area. And it's a different feel for visitors coming in. So obviously visitors are coming in, and if they're here for business meetings, they're usually on our campus at the convention center and some of our hotels. There are some coming in in the Disney district, where downtown Disney and Disneyland and the California Adventure. So this OC Vibe is going to offer that sports and entertainment sector for us, right? Which is a great, fantastic area for us to offer to our visitors, and also for convention attendees. The other component of that complex is it's connected to the train station, right? So we have a train station locally here. So if you think about visitors coming in from Northern California or up from San Diego, it's an easy train ride down to Anaheim through that train station, and then you have access to all of the OC Vibe there. And again, the convention center and the campus and the resort area that you talked about is about a mile away from that from OC Vibe. So that's a big development that we're working on, and hopefully, again, first phase of it will be done in 2024.
Okay, and you guys are involved in the Olympics as well. So the events will happen in the OC area as well as in LA County during the Olympics.
Yes. So we just had a meeting with LA 28 a couple weeks ago, right, talking about all of the events. A majority of the Olympic events are happening up in the LA area. But I think we have now confirmed volleyball is going to be at the Honda Center, right? So to
Okay.
your question, yes, some of the Olympic activities, and there's more sports being considered, right, by the IOC, and and it's yet to be placed on where that is. But we expect the volleyball to be down in Orange County at the Honda Center, and I believe Huntington Beach is also looking at some sport events there for the Olympics. So we're excited for that. That's a great partnership that we're working on with, again, LA 28 and the folks with the LA Tourism Board and the LA Sports Commission.
That's good to know. See, I didn't even know that. See, so people are learning stuff today that, that Orange County is part of the Olympics as well. So they're going to have some events there as well. So that's good to know. Now, excuse me. Now, I know that is getting meeting business and being a destination is competitive, around the country, not just around the country, but maybe even in your backyard. How do you, as you have LA tourism, you have maybe San Diego, you have all these different tourism boards within Southern California. And I'm sure it's friendly competition, but have you seen that sales has changed during this whole COVID thing in order to get business? Is it more about selling? I know you mentioned that no one wants to be sold to.
Right.
Has the attitude changed as you've seen it?
Yeah. So like you said, it's friendly competition, right? Obviously, Darren is my counterpart in LA. Nicole is my counterpart up in San Francisco, and Kevin down in San Diego. All of us are going after similar business, right? Or if not the same business. And we're all trying to fill convention centers and our hotels and bring visitors to our destination. I think one of the things that we started doing, and we're continuing to do that, is during the pandemic we collaborate a lot, right? Because we were trying to figure out when business is going to return. What are we talking to with our customers? Are they providing something different that we're providing from a health and safety perspective? So I think the answer to your question is there's just a lot more collaboration between all of the major gateways. Again, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, and us. We are on calls probably every week, if not every other week, to talk about what are we hearing in the marketplace and how do we show up to all of the destination, to the marketplace together, right, and consistently. I think the other piece that's sort of driving that collaboration for us is California was so restrictive on the onset of COVID, right? And while other destinations like Texas or Dallas or Atlanta or Orlando were open, we weren't, right? And so we needed to be able to make a big splash in the marketplace about reopening, and that it was safe to have events in California again, certainly in our destination. And then beyond that, what are we doing to help ensure that those meetings and events are conducted safely in our destination, based obviously guidelines distributed by the state, right? So I think that forced us all to collaborate, and then going forward, we're also showing up at many of the industry events, MPI, PCMA, as you talked about, and some of the acronyms out there, IMAX for that matter. We're showing up as a collective front. Because none of us have exclusive on any customer, right? And so
Exactly.
we want to make it easier for customers to visit all California destination and pick the right destination that makes sense for their events or for their constituents. And so we want to present that California is again safe to come into and safe to have business in California, and certainly in Anaheim for that matter.
I like that. I always when I was on the hotel, when I was on property, I was happy. Okay, like you said, there's competition. Okay, from the hotel I'm working in and the one across the street. I was always happy that it just stayed in the area. You know what I mean? It didn't go outside area. It didn't go to another state. You know what I mean? The business, whatever it was, it didn't go. If I'm at the Universal Studios, the business didn't go to Santa Monica. You know what I mean? As long as it stayed at the Hilton or my property or just in that general Universal City area, I was happy. So and it's good that that I see more friendly competition, because before it wasn't like that. I mean, I
Yep.
was like that, but other people were like, you know what, hey, you know, this cutthroat, we're going to undercut, we're going to do this, we're going to do whatever it takes to get it. But, you know, at the end of the day, if it stays in California, if it stays in the area, and if it's the right decision for the client, that's what makes the difference, right? Because all destinations are different. But I always think that the difference in salespeople are the salespeople, meaning
Yeah.
the person that's actually selling it. Are they selling it? Are they a hard sell? Or are they, you know, offering, you know, the benefits of having it at my location versus having it at your destination? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm just glad that a lot more collaboration has been done.
Yeah, and I think our goal is to keep, if that show is rotating west, right, on in 2024, we want to
Mm-hmm.
keep that rotation west, right?
Yeah,
We don't want that customer to change the rotation and go Midwest or even on the east, right? So I
exactly.
think once, and then it's a matter of all of us, making sure that event is going to land again within our major gateways. And then really, sort of highlight the features that we think it's going to make sense for them to come into each of our destinations, whether that's San Diego and or LA or San Francisco or even Anaheim for that matter, right? So we usually that's for us our opportunity to highlight the value that we can bring to that event or that community.
Very good. Social media. What role does social media play within your DMO?
Oh, it's major, right? I think when I was at MPI, I was over the marketing and advertising side of our business, right? And it was really we were selling advertising. It was really sort of traditional ads. Today, while you still have some of that traditional ad, that is now moving digital, and then social is now playing a big role in that, right? And so, in fact, this morning we just met with an agency that allows us to connect with the right content creators that aligns with our destination, right? Because part of it
Mm,
is we want to be authentic, right? We want to
yes.
be authentic to who we
Yeah.
are, and we also want to partner with content creators that are authentic to that have alignment to our destination or alignment to either events, products in our destination that gets us in front of the right of the right consumer, the right organizers, right? So social has become a big part of our organization. We've staffed up on that side of it, and when you talk about the pandemic, I think coming out of the pandemic, we're looking at different skill set, different positions that we need to staff up on based on how the market has shifted over the span of 2.5 years while we were sheltered at home or while business was shut down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You hit something. You mentioned that you're trying to pair like let's say an influencer or someone that's in social media. You're trying to pair the right person with your destination. Someone that has maybe dealt with something in that destination. Someone that has maybe done some social media projects with a destination, because
Right.
that's important. A lot of people don't realize that one company or one influencer doesn't fit all.
No.
It has to
No.
be, excuse me, has to be specific, has to be strategic, has to be intentional. I mean, all those things matter. So, I mean, you hit some things that I just have to, I just had to jump on top of those as well,
No.
because
You're
I'm
you're
big on social media
no.
but I'm always big on the right people doing the right job, right? Like I said, it's not one size fits all kind of thing.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right, right? And you talked a little bit about, groups coming back, right? I think for us, groups coming back is obviously fantastic, but their need is a little bit different now, right? A lot of these groups are coming back with, 60% of what they used to be, right? Or 70% of what they used to be. And so for us, and what they're looking from us, and back to the question or the comment that Robbie, I think it was Robbie that you said earlier, right? For
Mm-hmm.
us is how do we help those organizations drive traffic, right? How do we help those organizations connect to members of the same members or people that have the same similar needs, right? So, for example, if we had a convention in town for American Heart Association, let's just use that for an example, right? We want to work with a content creator that aligns with that, right? and that person is going to create content. It's going to create. Help us create campaigns that reach out to similar people, right? So that's where we can help a lot of organizations drive traffic or drive attendance to their events in the short term, right? And I think in 2 or 3 years, a lot of these organizations will be back to where they are. But in 2022, maybe even a little bit in 2023, they're coming back into all of our destinations. They're just not what they used to be in terms of size or scope of events. And I think for us, we're trying to figure out how to help those organizations market or get the message out to their constituents, to their communities, that meetings and event obviously is the best way to connect, share ideas, collaborate, and then get some professional development, which is one of the big things that why people get together.
Let me piggyback on that. What are people saying? Because and this is me saying this, Junior. Okay, this is these are my own thoughts. I guess my question would be, what are the company CEOs saying about traveling? Because the meeting planners and the hotel people, of course, and CVB people as well. Oh yeah, everything is coming back. It's coming back full force, whatever. But are they saying that they want to come back and meet? Or is it, like you said, it's going to be different? Maybe we're going to come back, but we're going to come back half virtual and half, in person. Or maybe we're not, instead of doing 1,000 rooms on peak now, maybe we're only doing, 250 rooms on peak. I mean, what are they? Yeah. I mean, as much as you can share, what are they?
Sure. So it depends, right? Like everything else, it depends, right? Yes. So when you look at your associations, right, out there, right, a lot of associations depend on meetings and events to fund the organization, right? Usually that's events, major conventions drive anywhere from 30 to 50 to maybe even 60% of their overall budget, right? So for a lot of associations, and your question is really at the executive level, they want to bring back their events, right? The caveat to that is obviously they want to bring back their events in a safe environment, right? And which a lot of destinations now are partnering with, local hospital. We partner with the local hospital here, Hogue, to be able to make sure that we can offer the services that organizers need to be able to deliver, great, safe events. I know Darren up in LA partnered with Clear, right, to be able to deliver, again, to help organizers deliver safe events. So on the association side, a lot of those guys are wanting to bring their events back. They are bringing their events back, and now it's a matter of being able to communicate how those events are conducted safely. On the corporate side, it's a little bit of both, right? Some want to have their events because they are launching a new product into the marketplace and they need to be able to advertise and market all of those things. Some are a little bit more hesitant, and not because it's not safe, but the cost of travel is increasing. If you look at fuel prices, right? The cost of air travel is increasing, right? And so some of those look at their, whatever is happening for that organization, the market, and that may influence the decision whether they have the event. And to where you put it, they may have the event, but it's going to be a smaller size event, and it's maybe a little bit different focus, right? But from all of them, we are seeing a lot of events coming back. We have pretty much a full calendar for the rest of this year. And again, for us, it's, how many people show up to these events, and how do we help organizers get the message out to all of their community and their exhibitors about their event, especially on the association side. On the corporate side, most of those guys are locked in terms of who's coming to their events.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's different for people that just maybe don't understand. It's different market segments. So association versus corporate versus leisure or anything like that. So
On the other hand,
go ahead.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you look at sports, right, especially the amateur sports, they are coming, right?
They never stop.
Mom and dad wants to have their kids play their sport, right? And they're coming, whether that's volleyball, soccer, all basketball, right? Those guys will continue to have their event, and they continue to have their event throughout the pandemic. Obviously, a lot of their events moved outdoors when they were able to have those competitions again.
Very good. So, what would you say? Could you give us I know you went into a little bit, just kind of a overall synopsis of the industry. Where we are now. Um, are we above where we were this time last year based on numbers, group numbers,
Yeah.
or specifically to your destination, or the industry as a whole, the United States as a whole? I mean, if you can
Yeah,
share any
yeah,
of that.
no, great, great. I think we are. If you look across the board, right? I think we're probably about 30% down compared to where we used to be, right? And if you compare everything to 2019, which a lot of our partners and a lot of hotels compare, that's your benchmark year. So we're probably about 30% off of where we were used to be in terms of events, and that is because Russ, if you remember, the beginning of the year we had Omicron, right? That outbreak slowed a lot of the recovery for us in Q1, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
it started to leak into Q2, right? In terms of recovery, meaning a lot of the events that we had in those Q1 and Q2 started moved either cancel their event and rebooked it into a future year or moved their event to later in the year, right? So the number of events were a little bit down. The number of, as I mentioned before, the number of attendees are a little bit off. Again, depending on the segment of the business, and that when I say a little bit off, it's anywhere from 20% to 40% to 50% off in terms of number of attendees, right? Again, based on the segment. I think Tourism Economics put out a study that it looks like we'll be back to where we were in 2024 or in 2019 by 2024 in terms of
Mm.
the number of events and the number of people showing up to those events. Now, if you look at the leisure side of our business, the leisure side of our business is going to recover a lot faster, right?
Yeah.
In fact, that's the part side that's leading the recovery, and I think by next year we should be back to where we were in 2019. The caveat to that is the international side of the business, right? So obviously, I think you heard probably about a month ago, the U.S. Lifted the testing requirements for anybody coming back into the U.S. or coming into the U.S. And I think that's going to help us increase that international travel back into the U.S. from a leisure perspective and from a meetings and events perspective. So 2024 is the mark, is the target for us for the meetings and events in the recovery back to where we were in 2019. By 2023, we think we should be pretty close to be back to where we were on the leisure side of the business in terms of recovery. But a lot of things that's contingent on a lot of things. Not the least of it is obviously policy, and then any sort of outbreak and the media will drive some of that, right? And that may slow things down.
Yeah, definitely. The media always has a spin on something. Now, you guys as far as your bureau, you guys work remote or you're in an office? I see you're in office today. Do you guys work from office or you
So
still
I,
work from?
you talk a little bit about what are some of the changes coming back into
Yes.
COVID, right? I mean, coming
Hmm.
back from the pandemic. We talked a little bit about some of the changes on the group side of it. I think one of the big challenges that whether you're sitting at a hotel or you're an organization that has events, and from a DMO perspective, one of the big challenges that we're facing is whole staffing issue, right? And we're trying to staff up quickly. But a lot of our staff now, a lot of people are looking at going back into an office as what I mean. Is that really necessary, right? And it's hard to argue with, right? Because a lot of our team members have been working from home for 2.5 years, at the very least 2 years, right? And they've been doing the job. So for us, we're trying to balance that out to be able to give our team members the freedom to be able to work from home, but also bring them into the office because it allows us to build camaraderie,
Yeah.
culture of the organization, right?
Hmm.
To connect and share information, collaboration is important for us to be able to offer solutions to our customers, right? So we're trying to balance that out. And I know, again, talking to my counterparts there, a lot of us are either 3 days in the office, 2 days in the office. For us, if it's in Anaheim, we are 2 days in the office, right? Tuesday and Thursdays we're in the office, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we're working from home. But the only caveat to that is if we have customers in the destination or in house, then
Yeah.
obviously we're here, right?
Yeah.
So and that allows that's a value proposition that we sell to a lot of our prospective employees, right? To be able to work from home, considering the price of gas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
that's a big value. That's a big value that a lot of prospective employees for us and our current team is grateful to have.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I'm glad you said. I mean, it's true. So, but I'm glad you brought that up. That you guys are flexible and you're open to change because that's one thing about the industry. Sometimes we can be slow to change and slow to adapt to certain things,
Right.
and then we lose sight of what we're there to do first and foremost, and then we lose sight of getting good people because
Yeah.
we are just basically closed off to anything. And if anything that the pandemic has taught me is that you got to be flexible. You got to think if you outside the box. I mean, this is it that to
Right.
the nth degree. You got to be
Right.
thinking outside the box. So that those are things that I learned, and I'm glad that just to hear those things, and I'm also glad about the collaboration that you do with you mentioned Darren several times, your counterpart at LA Tourism. That's great because you're not on this island alone. There's someone else
Nope.
out there. There's other people out there that can help you or maybe guide you or maybe just have a thought session like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So and that's something that I don't think a lot of people know that. I don't think a lot of people know that there is a close bond between, especially, local ones. And I'm sure you talk to people because, it's funny when and this is a side thing, when I put out that you were going to be on the show, when I put out promotional stuff, people just kind of chimed in. And these people were all over the United States, right?
Yeah.
Did they know you and, oh, he's great, a strategic thinker, very professional. I mean, they just all these words, these acronyms, and these positive adjectives, and all this kind of stuff came up. It's because just going off of reading your bio, you volunteered a lot of time to certain organizations, and volunteering gets your name out there. That's one. And the people know you for who you are, not just as the great person that you are, and I think that you are a great person, but the things that you've done over the past. I mean, in your past or professionally. So, I mean, all that stuff basically works not just for you as your brand, because I always tell people the brand starts with you, who you are. Okay,
Yep.
you just happen to work for Visit Anaheim. That's another brand, but the brand starts with you. So these people all talked about you. They didn't talk about the brand that you work for. They talk about the brand Junior, and that just to me that's like, man, this is great. It's going to be a great interview. That's how I look at it, right? but no, I'm glad all the stuff that I just mentioned.
You're absolutely right, Russ. Like none of us have the magic potion, right? None of us have the answers to all of these to all of the challenges that we're facing. And for me, being part of volunteering my time and maybe a little contribution that I can bring to an issue, I think for me I get more satisfaction by talking to other people in the industry and figuring out the challenges that they're going and and oftentimes some of those challenges are the same challenges that I have, right?
Mm.
And I think so whether that's again Darren or Nicole or Brad in Dallas or Mike Waterman in Orlando, all of these guys have great backgrounds. They've been successful in their career, and in sort of any insight that I can glean from them is going to help me be a better leader within our organization, but also a better professional in the industry, right? And so I believe in the diversity of opinion, right? I think the diversity in opinion, diversity of perspective makes the conversation much richer, right? And I think that we can get to a solution that's much better when you have different opinion and different perspectives.
Wow, very good. Yeah, we're on today with Mr. Junior Tava'a. He is the Chief Sales Officer with Visit Anaheim. We're kind of winding down the show here, but I mean he's given a lot of information. He's dropped some diamonds and all this kind of stuff. There's some jewels, things that people that are listening can re-listen to it and just basically learn some stuff about what the CVB the DMO, what they stand for, or old habits die hard. But things at the DMO, on the DMO level, what they do, how they do it, and how them and the city they kind of work as one. So basically, DMO is like the tourism arm of a city or a
That's it.
destination. So
Yep.
he kind of explains things, and I also mentioned earlier that my family's actually having a family reunion there in Anaheim. It was just by coincidence that he happens to be on the show on the same week. But yeah, so I'll be able to next week to say exactly how everything went. Okay, so Junior won't be on the show next week, but I'm sure he'll hear about it.
Yeah.
But no, everybody's been great. And please tell Marilyn. Marilyn is one of my favorite people in the
Yep.
world. Please tell Marilyn I said hello. She's been on the show as well. Let me just read a couple comments. Lonnie Wolf says, "In the house, gentlemen, looking good, Russell." I wore the suit or the jacket because Junior is going to be on here. Normally, I don't wear a jacket. Okay, just so you know. I wanted to make sure to check in for 15 minutes before I'm off and running. Hey, thank you so much, Lonnie. I do appreciate it. My sister actually joined in. She Love Family Reunion 2022. Okay, yes, in full effect. And then Robbie says, "Thanks. That's a great benefit for your team. Y'all hiring? I'm in Texas." That's a
So yeah, so it's funny that's a great question by Rob. We are hiring. I think we have 9 positions that we're recruiting for. Everything from
nine.
communications to marketing to sales to services, right? So
Wow.
we post all of those things on our website in terms of position we're recruiting for. We're also working with a lot of our hotels to be able to post positions that they're searching for. As I mentioned, staffing is a big challenge for us. So yes, to answer to I think it's Robbie. You said the answer to Robbie
Yes.
is yes. We're hiring. We're hiring people both that are based here in Anaheim, but also people that are based in, as we call it, in market.
Okay. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Because you guys, your events they come from everywhere. They don't just come from California. They come from United States. I'm sure you do a lot of international ones too. I know you do the NAM conference, which I think you have it. You had it this year, and you're going to have it next year as well, right?
Yeah, so NAM is one of our biggest show, if not the biggest show for us. It's about 117,000 people.
Wow.
Usually it's January. This year we had it in June because, again, we talked about the outbreak early this year. So they shifted their show to June. Successful show. Next year they are in, I believe they are in April next year. And then in
Mm-hmm.
2024, they'll be back in January, their regular time slot, right? But to answer your question, yeah, we do a lot of events from all over the U.S. So we have team members in New York, New Jersey, D.C., Chicago, some up in Northern California. And we try to put a lot of our team members to where organizers are, right? Meeting planners or meeting professionals. In addition to that, we also have team members or agencies outside of the U.S. that's going to help drive the leisure market for us. And most of our leisure travelers are coming out of Canada, Latin America, and then down Australia, New Zealand, and obviously in the European sector, right? So, and the Asia Pacific market is a big market for us. And so, we're starting to get back to where business is. Again, we talked a little bit about the demand of the business is a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, Russ, it's great to be sitting here than I was 2 years ago, right? When everything was uncertain and we were sheltered at home, right? So it's great to be back in business and reconnecting with people and then connecting people together, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we do.
Yes, definitely. No, I understand. I mean, yeah, I always wonder, like, what are people doing? And the sheltering in place, and are they still working? Like you said, there was so much uncertainty for a period of time. But yeah, no, I understand. I got one more question for you, and then we're going to have to
Yep.
wrap this show up. You know what? And I know sometimes this person can be difficult to work with. I don't know, and I just want you to share your thoughts, if you could, with working with that mouse.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to ask me any hard questions.
How
No,
is working with the mouse? Okay, how is that?
Dis-
Disneyland and Mickey
yeah,
Mouse. How's
Disney
that?
is no. One thing I would say, right? Anaheim and Orange County, it's home of Disneyland, right? And we saw the impact of Disneyland, not just from the number of people coming in for to go to the park, but the impact in terms of jobs and the families that impact that impacted when Disneyland closed. Right, that was devastating to a lot of those to a lot of our team members. And a lot of their team members there when they had to close down and laid off so many people, right? So Disneyland's a big part of our community. Disneyland obviously drives a lot of the things that we're doing, right? From a leisure side of it, and also on a business, on a group side of the business. But we saw, anytime that we sort of took them for granted, if you will, right? We saw their impact when COVID hit and they shut down and they didn't open right away, right? In terms of like the number of people coming in, that impact to local businesses, small businesses that relied on Disneyland and relied on those guests to drive, to be in business. But also again, the people that work for Disneyland, the thousands of people that work for Disneyland that depend on Disneyland and depend on visitors and guests to put food on the table to support their families. That was probably one of the most devastating things that we saw. So, it's they are great to work with, right? They drive a lot of the work that we do here. And at times it's a big organization, like any big organization. It's hard to figure out where to go, who to work with. But they've been big supporters of Visit Anaheim. They've been big supporters of Visit Anaheim, and it's hard to imagine having Anaheim without Disneyland.
Exactly. No, I had to throw that in there, try to throw a little spin on that. But yeah, Disneyland was actually the gauge for me. Once that, during the whole COVID thing, if Disneyland opens, then everything else is going to follow, suit. Right. So
that's exactly right. Right. When I talked to customers during the pandemic, that was probably like on the top 3 questions that they asked, right? Like, when can I have my meeting again, right? And then right after, if I said to them, I think by Q2 of 2022, or 2020, right? I think we'll be open again. Their very next question is, when is Disneyland open, right? Because if Disneyland's open, then all is right with the world again.
Exactly. But thank you so much, Junior, for being on the show. I don't say this lightly. Your DMO is probably one of the best ones that I have come in contact with. And I'll give just a quick story. It's just, and I don't remember who, I remember Marilyn was involved, but I don't remember who she actually had do it. But an old colleague of mine called me one time, and he was opening up, he was helping a hotel open up a restaurant inside of this particular hotel, as a contract or whatever. So he called me because we used to work together, and he said, hey, do you know anyone in Anaheim that can help me with this? Because we're going to do some promotion. We want to do a grand opening, but I don't know where to start. And I said, let me call someone with the CVB, and then I'll find it. He said, CVB, what is that? And I tried to explain to him what it was. DMO. Okay. So I tried to explain to him what it was. He said, okay, whatever you can do. So the first person I called was Marilyn, okay, because that's who I know there that I can actually talk to, because she's been on the show before. And it had nothing to do with hotels or rooms. It had everything to do with just basically helping out, this restaurant that wanted to do a grand opening. She got me in touch with someone. I mean, this is a matter of several hours. Next thing I know, I'm getting calls and emails from this person, and she helped me out tremendously. Then I basically turned that information over to the guy that my old colleague, and he was so appreciative. He was so happy. Everything turned out well, and that's what I'm talking about when I mean a great DMO, because it had nothing to do with anything. But she didn't stop there and say, okay, I'm gonna pass this on to someone else. No, she took care of it, and then she followed up and said, hey, did you get taken care of, or was this situation taken care of, or was your colleague happy with the outcome? I said, yes, definitely. So stuff like that. It's the little things that make the big difference to people. And that's, like I said, I've always loved Marilyn, but that just gave me another reason too. And I've always been fond of you and respected you from the day that I met you. And like I said, and we don't talk that often for me to say this. We don't even talk this often, right? But your reputation carries, okay? So no matter where I am in the United States, if Visit Anaheim comes up in a conversation, it is always followed by Junior. If it's not followed by you, it's followed by Marilyn. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. So thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you do within our industry. And hold on one second. I just want to let's see. That's great. Great show. Very informative. The little things do make a big difference. And those are comments that people just made. I just wanted to let you know that. But thank you so much, Junior. I mean, we're almost a minute there, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining on Air Russell Hotels. And well, I got to get you back on the show again someday.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. You take care. Thanks again.
All right. Talk soon.
Yes, sir. So I want to thank once again, Junior's probably going to get off, but I just want to thank you guys once again for joining on Air with Russell Hotels. That was a great show. It will be on the replay on LinkedIn. It will be on, of course, here on YouTube and all my other social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. So please check it out because there's a lot of good information that he dropped, and I do appreciate it. And then Dylan says, that's a strong endorsement. Good work, Junior. Yeah, Junior is the real deal. Junior is the business, as they say. So, but no, I appreciate him. I appreciate Marilyn Kroc, who is the vice president of sales there with Visit Anaheim as well. And yeah, they are, as far as working with them, they've done nothing but great stuff for me. And if you have any information, if you have any questions about, bringing a group or a convention or anything, even as small as my family reunion, you know what I mean? Call or just go to Visit Anaheim, their website, and go from there. All right. But thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. We'll be back next week. It'll be just me by myself, no guest next week, but that's okay. I mean, that's why you listen, right? Because of me.
Thank you for
But
joining
anyway,
On Air with
you guys
Russell
take care.
Hotels.
We'll talk to you soon.
Please tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we talk to other hospitality professionals. Your feedback is important to Russell. Feel free to email him at russell@russellofhotels.com with any questions or suggestions. Until next time, try not to be a person of success. Rather, become a person of great value.